Yeah. Well, the weather's not looking good, people. It's lashing down. You got to feel sorry for everybody who's dressing up in the reenactment of the Lord Hopton's encampment. I would have liked to got some interviews, but it is absolutely stair-rodding down. They must be getting soaked. It looks like a total disaster to me. It's getting worse. But finally the rain stopped. Wind is still howling, so I come around here. You can see a patch of blue sky up there. I feel there's more coming, and I'm just going to have a walk around and see what I can find out about this reenactment of a sort of English Civil War period. Quite scary when you look at some of the equipment they used to kill each other with. Oh, it's quiet. I can come back now.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon. So, can you explain to us what's going on here? What portion of the army are you working with?
Oh, I'm not in the army, sir.
So what would you be?
I'm part of the, well, we would be called the baggage train, I guess. We're the laundry.
Yes.
So we would follow the soldiers around, and we would make our money by washing their shirts and things.
Yeah.
So here is a shirt, and what happens is it gets soaked in the urine, which is 2-week-old urine, to bleach it.
Yes.
And then from there it would have some soap added to it. This is nice soap. This is nice soft soap.
Oh, soft soap. Is that made from a solid bar, or you know, you sort
to make it
don't melt
hard,
it down? But what do you?
To make it hard, we add salt to it. But this is actually made from lye ash and beef dripping. And then we would add
ash
some,
as in the fire, not the tree.
Yeah, lye ash. Yeah. Do you want to smell that?
Yeah, we can smell it.
Let's add some lavender added to it so that the shirts themselves smell nice. From there it will be boiled. Go on the boiling pot.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there at the moment
No,
because
but
I've
it's
just
boiling,
taken
so you
it
boil
out
it,
to mix it here. We would gently use the dolly.
Oh, yes, I've seen that thing in the museum here. You twist it, don't you?
Gently, so that you don't hurt any of the fibres, because Master Splot gets really grumpy when I make holes in his shirts. Practice makes perfect, master. So from there we would bring it up onto our table, which has the grooves, so that's where all the dirt goes through. And with linen, it's quite a fine fibre, as you can see. You see the actual fibres of it?
Yeah, crisscross, yeah.
So with that, we're not actually allowed to wring it or to scrub it, because that would damage the fibres, make holes in shirts, and then Master Splot gets really angry. And we use these, which are called battle doors, like miniature cricket bats.
Yes.
And we use that, and we will bash the shirts.
And that doesn't damage them, though?
That doesn't,
as opposed to wringing it out, yeah.
Absolutely, because the fabric stays as it is.
Yeah.
And the dirt gets pushed out through the holes in the board and then drains down onto the floor underneath. And then what we would do, because we didn't actually hang any of our washing at all, we would lay it out very, very flat on the grass.
Yeah. And
the sunshine would help to bleach it from above.
The sunshine?
The sunshine, not today so much, absolutely.
They had some time in the 70s.
They did have some, yeah.
Certainly, they kept it all, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then the photosynthesis of the grass would actually help to bleach the underneath.
Oh,
so
really?
it brought the shirts up really nice and white. And then after that, you had two different kinds of starch. This here is rice starch, and this was really, really important, people only. So it was really expensive. So rice back in 1642-ish was imported.
Yes.
So only the poshy posh people would have had this. The hierarchy went sort of higher class to obviously the lower class. So the middle class would have used this because it gave the fabric a kind of sheen. So someone in
not
my
for being
position,
starched as in stiffer.
Well, yeah, and to bring it up nicer, it
Yeah.
just looks nicer. Someone in my position, I would sort of back away and bow my head from someone who was wearing a starched shirt.
You've got to love global warming. You've got to love it. I'll tell you what, it's a big storm coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
You keep going because I know we're going to get rain. So
And
what
then
were
these
these?
here, sir,
Yep.
these are Master Splot's toenails. Where is it?
They're a what? 'Cause I thought you said toenails.
They are toenails, they're Master Splot's toenails. These are horse hoof clippings.
Oh, horses, I recognise those, yeah,
And
from
these
the blacksmith.
and these
Yeah.
would be boiled up, and the kind of scum that floated to the
This
top.
really is toenails.
Genuinely. Yeah.
Oh my God, guys. Don't
yeah.
waste anything.
Toenails there.
So you're looking to get what out of those?
Well, those would be boiled up, and the scum that settles on the top
Yes.
would form a kind of starch that we would use
Really?
on, yeah, sort of lower middle
weird.
class people.
Yeah.
And that would bring up the shirts a bit better as well and help to keep them nice. And
That's
here
amazing.
comes our dairy maid. She's made the most wonderful butter this morning.
Trade butter for
And this is for any significance on the knife or anything, or was that for the toenails?
For genuinely helping us to
That's
cut down the
unusual,
toenails.
a sheath and that in there, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yes, goat leather, is
So
it?
this would have been from the soldiers.
I thought you were talking about the hoof.
These
You'd
would
be
have been the
collecting these from the
soldiers.
soldiers, so
Yeah, and
soldiers'
Master
toenails.
Yeah, and
goat
Master
hoof
Splot's.
clippings.
And Master Splot's toenails.
Good day, Master. How are you?
Is this yours?
No, mine's over here.
Oh, I don't think it should be on the display anyway.
So we're saying the dairy maid.
I am. No, that one isn't mine. I am the dairy maid. I was up at
Normally,
I wouldn't usually be in the laundry tent. However, rotten parliamentarian soldiers stole my tent and equipment.
Oh really? That's the story.
It is. So I'm in here today. I was up at first light to milk my cow. Her name is Tesco.
That's right.
So I milk the cow, I bring the milk back and let it settle inside of a large bowl.
Yeah.
Then the cream would rise to the top. The cream is what goes in here. This is my butter churn.
Yeah.
Rain.
Rain
The
again.
cream would go into the butter churn, which I would churn on
Yeah.
a nice cold day like this. It's only about 15 or 20 minutes of churning,
Yeah.
which is nice. On a warm day, it's up to an hour or
Oh, really?
over
Yeah,
an hour.
Yeah.
That's not fun at all.
Yeah.
But I churn it until it separates, and it separates into buttermilk, which is this. It's more of the
Yeah,
milky
see,
stuff
it's like
under the
skim.
film.
Skim. You could do all speed. You want to skim off the top.
Yeah, I still need to do stuff with that. And then there's butter solids, which you can sort of see a little bit of here.
Yeah.
Once it's separated, I'll squeeze some more buttermilk out and drain that away.
Yeah.
Then it's time for salt and herbs.
Yeah. Big storm coming. I can see it coming.
Yeah.
It's going to churn itself away in a minute.
Yeah, worrying
So
about the tent.
And then
sorry.
onto the.
Oh, that's just my lunch.
Oh, that is really your lunch.
That's genuinely my just lunch.
Yeah. Well, hopefully this wing eases off. I mean, they had storms back then as well, didn't they? This is how you get paid, yeah.
Yeah.
In like shillings and farthings and
Yeah.
pennies and everything.
Pennies.
Stolen already, look. You can't trust soldiers around here.
I know, they're dreadful, aren't they? And someone took advantage of Mistress Josephine and paid her with a button.
Oh, really?
He shouted at her and called her a stupid girl, demanded his shirt, and then paid her with a button because he knew she'd be frightened.
Oh, really?
And myself and Master Splot weren't here.
While the rain stopped, can I ask you ladies, I'm assured you're the herbalist and can cure all my ailments.
Indeed,
Depends what they are.
So what would you do?
I can cure everything. It just might be a permanent cure.
Yes. First thing I got is...
What about ailments of the spirit? Reduce melancholia. So anything that makes you an infusion of balm, an infusion of...
So what do you ladies would be what? An attachment to the army, for instance?
No,
Would you come under, what's the other lady called it, like a shop, as it were?
No, we live within the community. This is, very little of this would be done for coin, most of it will be done for barter.
Yes.
So we live within the community, serve the community, no questions asked, but expect the community to help me when I'm having trouble with my roof.
Oh really? Yeah.
This table is mostly for treating
Women's issues.
so you don't want to look at that.
Sure, no, well, women's issues, you know, I've got kids, I'm old enough to know what goes where and how things work and all that, yeah.
Well,
But that's what it was years ago, you know.
So this is what everyone thinks of as a plague mask.
A plague mask,
It would be worn by someone, a physician, a medical person, to go and treat someone that they suspect of having a plague, because we think it's bad things in the air that cause disease. So you have here your sweet smelling posy that you're breathing whilst you're wearing it.
Yeah.
However, there is no proof that this style was ever worn in this country. All the images relate to the continent.
Yes, I can see that. It's got a French look about it there.
That's right. This one is made in Italy because they still make the best.
Yes.
And your original...
What would that be, just leather? It's a leather.
It is. It's just leather.
Solid leather.
Folded over and...
Well, that must have been uncomfortable.
Not really, you can try it on. This is the same principle, but much more prosaic. It's just a piece of horn, and you have your sweet smelling posy.
Oh, and it's tight around your neck.
You wear it like that, or like that.
That must be pretty scary, to somebody towering over you with these two things on their face.
Well, I do think that the leather one is very ostentatious.
Yeah.
It's, look at me, aren't I
It's a
being
show
good?
thing, yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
We do know that some people would wear any sort of mask and then cover themselves with linen, drench that with vinegar. Vinegar is known to kill bad things.
Same with posies.
But you can't treat people while you're wearing gloves, so take gloves off. And of course then it's
They're
no
going
good.
to get it, it's no good.
I have soap and water because I'm told between handling the fresh and handling the ready-made to wash my hands, but not between patients.
Yeah. Crazy, isn't it, how we learn?
Yes, that's quite quick. Usually we do it a bit slower than that. So that would be the retreat.
But you said it's a retreat, so it might be quite quickly if there's a big army coming. It might be suddenly get faster.
Your words, yeah. How far do you think he's going to go?
How long would they march for? Well, march in time, you know, when they're going on a march.
Miles. Up 20 miles.
So it's hours.
25 miles.
Yeah, hours and
Sometimes
hours.
all day.
Really?
Yeah. So the drums wouldn't beat for the whole of that time. What they do is they do it maybe when the soldiers are flagging.
Yeah.
And certainly when you're approaching the enemy and you'd be heard and you wanted to frighten the enemy.
Want to be
then the
heard,
drum would
yeah.
Absolutely drum up. Yeah. So a lot of it was creating that noise and fear.
So what do we have here, sir?
We have the...
Kind sir, I should say, because you've got the food.
yes. We have the officers' establishment.
Yeah.
And we are hoping that is going to be the midday meal.
And then butter and these that look like bombs are...
They are grenados.
Oh, they what?
Grenados.
Oh, which is what? A grenade?
Yeah.
Oh, I really was joking, thinking it was
No,
something,
they are.
a candle or something.
No, you stuff it full of gunpowder and you have a quick match on it, as opposed to a slow match, which you use for a musket. And you light it and judge when you're going to throw it at somebody.
Oh, really? Yeah. Because you don't want to throw them back, I suppose.
Exactly. Yes.
And the gloves, is there any specific use for those gloves? What they?
Protect my hands.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So this is effectively what would be called the officer's mess, I assume, is it?
Yes.
Sort of, at the time.
The expression wasn't used at the time, but yes, it is. Shilling,
Yes.
sixpence,
Yeah.
groat, fourpence.
Oh, great, really?
Threepence,
Yeah.
twopence, penny, halfpenny and farthing.
I recognise eggs, pipes, a flint and steel, honeycomb, a bit of bread. Oh, yes, look, candles. Oh, 4 candles. Can I ask you, is this a crime and punishment
It is.
area?
It is.
Could you explain some of it? I can see the stocks, I imagine they're called, are they?
Those are the stocks down there.
Oh, that's the stocks, yeah.
That thing there is a pillory.
This one's the pillory.
Yeah. Different levels of crime.
This is for throwing vegetables and fruit at somebody's for embarrassment purposes, is it? Or
most of the punishments, even though some of them seem brutal to us, are about humiliation.
Yes,
It's all about. But yes, you throw things at people in the pillory, and it's not necessarily soft, squidgy stuff.
Oh, really?
It's not bricks and rocks and bottles. I mean, we know a lot of people died or blinded in the pillory.
Really? I thought it was all vegetables like I see in the films.
It's a much more. That's for serious levels of crime. It is a. You know, we tend to think of it as quite a jokey thing these days, but it
wasn't. It wasn't at the time. And what was that one used for then?
That's really minor local breaches of the peace, that sort of thing.
Drunken disorderly type thing, something like that.
Every parish had to have a set of stocks, and it's really minor local stuff.
I see, yes, yeah.
You sort of go, the basic
procedure of punishment, I would call it.
Well,
starting at the bottom.
Going from that's low level crime. If your crime is a bit more serious, then whipping is almost certainly what you're going to get.
Is that right? Yeah.
Alongside that, there was ducking.
What would that material be that you got in your hand there?
It's leather.
It's just strips of leather.
Yeah. And I've not been able to find any evidence for a civilian flail having more than 4 strands to it. The cat. This thing.
Oh, 9.
This is only got 7 actually, but it doesn't matter. This is a military punishment, not a civilian punishment.
Right. Yeah. That'd be naval, would it?
And both Army and Navy use the cat. Yeah.
And that material there's what sort of a hessian?
It's rope. Yeah.
Oh, it is rope.
Yeah, it's rope. It will still do a fair amount of damage. So you know.
Obviously, locking up stuff, handcuffs.
Well, they're not actually handcuffs. They are manacles, and this is the only real torture device I have. This was considered. This is called the lesser torture.
Yes.
So we don't have handcuffs because we can't make locks small enough.
Yes.
So the wrist goes with that, and you'd be hung up by it.
Oh no.
That's called the lesser torture. The greater torture was to be stretched on the rack, and there was only one rack, and that was in the Tower of London.
Yeah.
But officially torture was illegal, but if you had a warrant from the king, you could do it. And the last warrant I think that was issued was in about 1628.
Yes.
When the guy who stabbed the Duke of Buckingham at Portsmouth was he was tortured. Given that he was mad, that was it's a bit extreme. But then Buckingham was a big mate of the king, so that's
That's
the sort of thing.
And the headgear there, head garment.
This is a scold's bridle or branks.
It's called a scolds.
Yeah, it's for nagging, argumentative women.
I'll take one.
Because women were considered to be subservient to men.
Yes.
A nagging, argumentative woman was against the law, so it had to be ordered by a magistrate.
Is that right?
Yeah. And they would be forced to wear it for about 4 or 5 hours, and you'd be paraded through town in it.
What about those spikes on them?
Yeah, well, I got a spiky one because the kids love it. In essence, because there are quite a few of them still in museums because they stayed in use until the early 19th century. Half of the ones that still exist don't have spikes on the mouthpiece. Half do, but it's not about the pain. It's purely about the humiliation.
Does that go under their chin? Or
it goes in the tongue, in the mouth.
In the mouth, so they can't talk. Just trying to stop them talk. Oh my God, that's horrific when you think about it, isn't it?
But they're more common in the north of England than in the south. But this one is based on one from Walton-on-Thames. And
no, is that a genuine one?
There's one in the museum at Walton-on-Thames, and it was the town's one. But we know that one was gifted to the town by a Scotsman who'd moved there and thought they ought to have one.
Yes.
Which is, wonderful.
And these wooden handle implements?
These are branding irons. So they heated up, and you would brand it on the cheek with a letter depending on your crime. They had about 12 letters they used depending on what crime you committed.
Oh goodness me! None of which are good.
No. Well,
best behave, I think, is
the big difference is they didn't have prisons.
Did they not?
No, nobody wanted to pay for prisons. You by the second half of the 17th century, you're starting to get prison sentences handed out. Never long ones.
Yes.
And as historians, our problem is that we don't know where they're putting people. The first purpose-built prison isn't until 1710, when Newgate was remodelled.
Yes.
But they have things called houses of correction, where the poor who will not work were sent. And we think they're using those.
I see.
But we don't actually have any evidence for that. It's a theory, but we can't think of anywhere else they will be putting people.
And what would that wooden implement there with the
Oh,
holes in
this
it?
joyous thing, yeah, this is called a finger pillory, and this is minor domestic punishment. It would be in a big house, somewhere with servants. It'd be fixed to the wall, so
Yes.
it's not movable, and it's for punishing your servants. So it opens up. You put a finger in the right-sized hole. It'll be closed shut, locked shut, and you can't get out. So you're just left stuck to the wall for a while.
Really? Goodness me.
It's hellishly ingenious.
And you call it a what?
A finger pillory.
What's that got to do with that word pilloried when you're
Well,
pilloried?
that's-
It must
yeah.
be linked to it, surely.
Yeah, well, that's being pilloried.
Yes.
That. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been
Embarrassed with punishment,
yeah,
like that.
Yeah.
And the item behind you is just a chair, so it's got to see where that is. Yeah. Hold on. And the claret, is there a significance in that, or just the fact that you like claret as yourself?
It's actually got port in it at the moment, but it's something to put liquid in while I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You need to keep refreshed.
These ones, what would they be?
They're leg irons, so they go around the ankles. The bar pulls out, one round each ankle. Shove the bar back through, and put a lock of some kind.
Oh, I see, through the hole at the end.
Then, they were known as bilboes, and the story was that one of the ships in the Spanish Armada had a hold full of these, because they were expecting to lock a lot of people up when they got here, and that ship came from Bilboa.
I see.
Now, whether that's true or not, we don't know.
Good story, then.
But it doesn't matter. But that's what they believed at the time, and so they got the name bilboes.
Can't imagine being stood that way for God knows how many hours.
You know, they're not massively used. I think one of my fun stories about those is in America, which was obviously operating under British common law as a colony. Boston, in Massachusetts, for a long time didn't have any stocks, and they just used bilboes instead. And then in 1634 they decided they ought to get with it and get a set of stocks made. So they had a set of stocks commissioned on Boston Common, and the first person they put in them was the guy who built them because he charged too much.
Oh no! Oh God! Poor chap. And you got look like I'm calling them sheep shearing tongs, scissors, or whatever.
They are shears.
Is that for women hair cutting?
No, they would be used in punishment to cut ears off.
Cut ears off?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
There are a couple of crimes, the most common of which was coin clipping, would get you ear cropped.
Good God.
It's the last bit of mutilation, really. I mean, you go back to Elizabethan times and they're cutting feet and hands off.
It's barbaric.
But most of that had gone by the mid-17th century, and ear cropping has gone by about 1700.
Well, that was something a bit different, if not horrific, I think. I should keep a few of us awake at night. But I'll tell you what, I bet years ago, way back then, they didn't get many people shoplifting. If they did, you get caught shoplifting. No ear. Sorry. That's a punishment, isn't it? And then worse, you could get those metal things and you could be trapped by the bilboes. Ouch. You wouldn't want to get caught by the bilboes, really, would you? I did like that very nice fashionable head clamp with the spikes in the tongue to stop nagging women. I mean, get them off eBay? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching the Totally Awesome Fishing Show. Jump over to Mike's channel, TA Outdoors. Don't forget, subscribe button, notification bells, both channels, whatever. And we'll see you in the next one. And trust me, I have plenty more like this sort of random stuff going up. We've interviewed people like that. If you enjoyed it, it's just something different to watch, isn't it? Let us know in the comments page. I'll bung some more up. Guys, see you in the next film.